We are leaving to Salin village. We are heading to Mapit. Tonight we will spend a night in Mapit. However, before that, we must pass through a challenge in Rapid Benda. An interesting challenge because it's quite extreme. But we will also go to many places with a very beautiful views. Follow us in our journey. We are heading to Salin. We are heading to Mapit. Mapit is one of the most beautiful ecotourism destinations in Kampus Hulu, West Kalimantan. Salin destination is located in Koreho village, South Putih Sub-District, Kampus Hulu Regency. To get to these destinations, we must take a boat, and it takes about 2 days from Putih. On this trip, I was with David Metcalf, a photographer from New Zealand, Chris Alexander, a photographer from England, and friends from indigenous filmmaker community. First day, we stayed in Sepan, Koreho village. Because it was already dark by the time we arrived on this village. However, it was so amazing. Tonight, we are welcomed with amazing dance and art performance from Punan Uheng Koreho. Salin is one of the smallest villages in the Koreho, which is located on the edge of Koreho River. This village has a population of less than 300 people. The people from Sepan are indigenous community from the sub-districts of Dayaks Punan Uheng Koreho. What makes the Punan Uheng Koreho very special is that they still preserve the original art of Punan, such as dance, music, local wisdom, which they pass on to their children. Like the other indigenous people, the Punan Uheng Koreho tribe is still living from the nature. They do traditional farming and take from the forest anything they need for daily life. That's why they maintain their relationship with the nature very well. Greeting from Sepan for Indonesia. Okay, bye-bye. We depart from Sepan to Salin.
Adik-adik di sana mereka mengucapkan
The little children there, they said goodbye.
Kita akan menuju ke Salin.
We are heading to Salin.
How do you feel here in Sepan?
Oh, I think it was an incredible experience. What a beautiful village. What the most beautiful people, and the culture's so strong, and the kids are so beautiful and so pure. Pure, perhaps is the word I could use to describe that whole experience. Yeah, just a beautiful village. It's really a very emotional experience for me. I'm really sad to say goodbye. I love this people, so the journey must continue.
Riam Benda is the most extreme rapids. These rapids must be passed through on a boat trip to Salin. With altitude exceeding 1 meter, making the rapids cannot be passed through by the boat from the downstream to the village of Salin. Therefore, all passengers must be get off the boat, and the boats must be dragged through the rapids towards the top of the rapids. Riam Benda is one of the most extreme and dangerous rapids on the Koreho River. Many boats sank in the rapids and even have caused several fatalities. Riam Benda is one of the historical places for the Punan Ohan Koreho indigenous community. When they moved from Pulau Linau, they sheltered first around the Riam Banda before they moved to Sepan to get better and more accessible settlement. Therefore, Riam Banda is one of the places which is sacred by the Punan Ohan Koreho indigenous community. As an expression of gratitude that has passed the danger in Riam Banda, Pak Pokim took his sape, climbed onto a big rock, and played a song there. Hearing the string of sape, Pak Lomapan also jumped on the same rock and began to dance swiftly. The sape and dance performance from Pak Pokim and Pak Lomapan was not an ordinary performance. It was an expression of gratitude to Akek Tingai or Amon Tingai for his protection and his inclusion. When the Punans passed through the dangers, that is the Punan Ohan Koreho's indigenous people's way of expressing their gratitude to Akek Tingai or God, the creator of heaven and earth, through their sapek and dance performance. After passing through Riam Banda, we continued our journey to Salin. There are dozens of rapids that we must pass through. One of them is the rapids in front of us, namely Riam Malangi. Approaching to Salin, our eyes are spoiled with beautiful natural views. In front of us, we can see a limestone hill, namely Liang Tubung. Liang in Punan's language means hill and Tubung means the house of magician. There is a legend in the Punan Ohan Koreho's community that the rock leaning against the hill was a coven, and the legend was found in Penyangon.
Itulah
That
namanya
is Liang Tubung.
Kayak
Tubung in bahasa means
sekarang
house,
kan ada rumah. Jadi rumah
but
itu
it's not the house of ordinary people like us. It's the house of people who have become ghosts, the magician, who are now invisible. That hill, what we see like this, that is a chest, a coffin, but now it's turned into stone. That one. Therefore, until now we have chanted, we told stories so that they don't disappear. That's why we tell it in the song, so that our children and our grandchildren know what it means, where it comes from until the end. Which area were not affected by disasters? Row of plateau and also hills. Dwelling place of the supernatural creatures and magicians. Which peak and which area are not affected? Sape in Punan community is the main musical instrument. Therefore, almost of Punan can play sape very well. The history of sape originated from the sound of the hornbill. From the sound of hornbill we make sape. So hornbill flying around the mountain because they are food. We call it bringing fig wood. Hornbills like to eat. They are fighting over the fruit. This is the sound of the hornbill when they are fighting over the fig fruit. After taking rest briefly in Salin, we continued our journey to Mapit'. The journey is getting harder and more tense because the river is getting narrow and slower, with more and more large rocks and dangerous rapids that we must pass through.
Kami baru saja melewati.
We just passed through a rapid which was quite extreme.
Sebagai penumpang harus turun dan
Some passengers must be get off the boat so that this boat lighter. Thanks God, we got through it well, even though it was thrilling. Besides enjoying the beauty of nature and tension over so many rapids, in this trip I was so amazed to see the motorist and juru batu, a boat guide. A motorist is someone who drives an outboard engine and controls the boat, while a boat guide is someone who points direction of the boat, passing through secure furrows at the front of the boat. Motorist and juru batu are a solid team. By looking at the signs given by juru batu, motorist already knows when he has to step on, when he has to slow down, when he has to lift the engine up, and when he has to turn off the engine. Juru batu stood on the front of the boat holding a long stick, and he sculpted carefully which parts the boat must pass through, so that the boat doesn't crash into rocks or reverse in a very heavy current. According to his name, juru batu is a guide, guiding the boat through the safe parts between the rocks, both visible and underwater invisible. And even when the boat must pass through a very heavy and dangerous rapids, the juru batu gives the command so that the passengers get off the boat and walk down through the riverbank. Thus we understand that whole life of the passengers in the boat depend entirely on the motorist and juru batu. Mountains, hills, river and rocks, that's all are the sacred lands of Punan Uhain Koreho. This is the Punan Uhain Koreho's sacred land and their soul. Here, the spirit is united with the spirit of the ancestors, with the universe. That's why, until this day, they are so united with the nature. Their lives and deaths are in their sacred land. They have been guarded their homeland and have been handed it down from generations to generations.
Setelah menempuh perjalanan sekitar 4 jam dari dusun Sepan,
Finally,
akhirnya kami tiba di tempat yang kami tuju,
place we are going to
yaitu
go.
destinasi
Mapit'S destination.
Well, it's hard to find words to describe it, really. I mean, it's unbelievable. You know, we've just had the most incredible day coming up the rapids for the last 3 or 4 hours. Exciting, exhilarating, you know, but always incredible scenery as we come further and further up this river. The original forest just becomes, you know, more thicker and different trees. And now look at this, we're surrounded by these massive karst pinnacles all around us. To me, this is like an amphitheatre of nature at its finest. You know, we're going to spend the night here, we'll sleep in the jungle or sleep beside the river, and enjoy each other's company and just celebrate being alive really, and also honouring nature. I think this is very important because to me, I mean, nature is the most incredible thing. It's so beautiful and there's so much to learn from nature. And when it's in balance like this and you're in the ancient rainforest of millions of years old all around us, it's an incredible feeling. Really hard to describe. It's very powerful. It's a powerful energy. And I think being with the Borneo people that have lived here for thousands of years and know these forests and know these rivers and know these areas, to be with them, and we've got a few elders with us. We've got about 4 of the ladies. We've got some of the younger kids. We've got some of the men, mostly men. I mean, it's incredible. What a wonderful balance of, you know, and of course our other Dayak friends from other parts of Kalimantan with us, and Chris from England. So yeah, we've got a beautiful group of people and we're going to really celebrate tonight and enjoy.
Today is our second day stay in Mapit. We arrived here late in the afternoon and built a base camp here. The place where we built base camp called Ekor Mapit or Mapit Tail, while the Kepala Mapit or head of Mapit is 1 kilometer from here. To reach Kepala Mapit, we cannot use a boat because the river is very shallow and the currents are very heavy. Therefore, we had to walk ahead upstream about 1 kilometer from base camp. While waiting for friends who are cooking, I joined young opponent cutting fish. At the beginning, I wondered why do they fish in fast-flowing water? Apparently, in the fast-flowing water on the sidelines of the stones, there are many fishes. The most found fish in the rapids at the Ekor Mapit are squirrelfish. This is the squirrelfish. This type of fish is very delicious and has a high protein. Because the opponents still apply the local wisdom rules, take enough for today. So for a short time, we have got enough fish for us to eat this morning. After breakfast, we continued our trips to main destinations, namely Kepala Mapit or the head of Mapit. To reach Kepala Mapit, we cannot use a boat because the river is too shallow. We therefore walked through the forest at the Mapit's foothills. On the way through the forest to the Kepala Mapit, I gained new knowledge from the Punan woman. They told me what leaves could be used for vegetable, for medicines, and even to repel pests in the rice field. These leaves can be used for vegetable seasoning, mixed with meat, mixed with fish. Walking in the forest indeed provides a lot of knowledge for us. In addition to learning about nature, we also learned a lot about the local wisdom of the Dayaks people who live in the forests daily. And all of that are exciting so that the journey to this paradise that we will achieve is not tiring. And this is the paradise, the head of Mapit, a fabulous ecotourism destination in Kapuasulu. sun was right on the ground when we left the Kepala Mapit. From Mapit we went to a village named Salin. Traditional art, especially sapek and dance, are still well inherited in the Punan and Koreho indigenous community in Salin. Ake Lilin and her daughter Davi are two dance maestros. They inherit the Punan traditional dance to the children in Salin. From them, many young talented Punan dancers are born now, those who inherit not only the dance skill, but also the philosophical values in it.